So a bunch of workers are like, oh, fuck this planet, dude. There's no sun. You're in debt forever. They won't let you leave. So I think they stole a spaceship, or maybe spaceship's like easier to own in the future or something like that. So they go, hey man, there's a space station out there called Romulus that seems to be abandoned. So let's go loot that shit, grab what we can, and get out of this galaxy. Mostly fuel for cryosleep, but they don't know xenomorphs has taken over that whole ship and killed everybody. What? They're transporting these eggs on the ship. It climbs into the water, drags a person down. It's a little bit flooding. You can't do much at this point, but just, dude, cover your face, because he just lunges at him and shoves his little alien dick inside your mouth. But this dude survived. He got that dick out of his mouth and they got out of that room, but then they broke free. But we got a whole bunch of face huggers. And look, we even got a face hugger point of view, like looking down from the ground. That was cool. And they're just launching that motherfucker. Got him. The bald chick, too. And I think she's the one who's, like, piloting the ship. You definitely need her, and she's pretty much the very first victim of a face hugger. Like, laid an egg in record time because they froze the tail and then was able to pull the face hugger right off her before attaching to her face fully. Like, alright, I laid my egg and I'm pulling my huge wiener out and you're done. They don't even know what face huggers is at this point because they're using like this X-ray sort of gun and you can see all through the chest and they're like, oh my god, that thing's like popping out of you right now. And then just like Kane in the first one, she starts twitching and foaming out of the mouth like, what the hell's going on there? Blah! Seems like it's coming out of her chest. At this point in the series, we've seen chest bursters come through the back and everywhere else, but we don't see too many alien kills except this one. That alien that escaped out of her actually went and became like a metamorphosis. It shed its skin and became more of an egg, and this guy went looking at it. And I guess they have like a little hook at the end of it, sort of like an ostrich or something. Like an ostrich has like a razor sharp like toenail or something. Almost killed Johnny Cash, like ripped his guts open and it stopped on his belt buckle. Yeah, once an alien is a xenomorph, it just tries to kill you, and at that point, or maybe cocoon you up so a face hugger could get you. But this guy like stuck his taser in there and it made the alien bleed a little bit, but then he bled all over that guy and it just straight ate through your bones and fingers and ate through that guy, put a whole bunch of holes in him, and he died. Their pregnant friend also got separated from the pack, and she's like climbing all over the place, and a xenomorph is hunting her down. All slimy, all practical effects too. That's why it's like, oh, it's not a CGI thing like they've done for the past like 40 years. They finally figured out, hey dude, let's make it practical and real looking and scary. And since this ship was already sort of filled up but taken over by the xenomorphs, they're still moving like dead bodies around. I don't know if they're nesting them or can you put a face hugger inside a dead body, but either way they're focused on cleaning up the place, I guess. She meets back up with the crew, but a xenomorph's on the other side of this door. And they're like, open the door, and the cyborg's like, negative, man. He's gonna come in and try to kill all of us. You don't have to agree with it, but that fool was right. Alien snatches her up, and they're like, hey, let's go get a bunch of guns and then go kill these motherfuckers. And that's exactly what they do, because she gets a gun and they're in like this tunnel with all this alien shit, but it's right underneath the hull, so the acid blood will leak through. So her plan is to kill the aliens and have the blood float around and just sort of maneuver around it. She emptied her whole clip on a whole bunch of aliens. I don't even know how many to count. I don't know. Say about 6 aliens, bunch of face huggers, enough for a whole lot of blood to be floating around everywhere. This is very cool. Straight out of the Dead Space video games. But Dead Space was like a copy of Alien anyway. So they sort of maneuver their way. They're about to float into some alien blood, but she could shoot her gun to propel her in the opposite direction. Dude. Another guy got an alien tail right through the chest and dragged up through the ceiling. They did have guns at this point, but I was like, oh, I think they're too close to the hull or something. They actually found her. Remember the one that got snatched up? Well, she actually lived, and they put her on the elevator and sent her to the escape pod. And during this whole like elevator gravity-less thing, Andy killed one of the xenomorphs with a quote from Aliens: "Get away from her, you bitch!" So then they go into the regular spaceship and they seem to have escaped, but then the girl's freaking out inside of her pod, and it's her baby's actually turned into an ugly xenomorph half-human baby that's really tall. Something like Alien Resurrection, but just done better. Looks like the creature from Smile. And they have this whole cargo ship like fight. She uses the blood to make a hole in the bottom of the ship, and it sucks the creature way out into space. I guess you consider that a kill. The big baddie creature at the end. The main girl, the pregnant girl, and the cyborg Andy live happily ever after. Or they at least go to sleep in those pods, and we'll see what happens.